right, welcome everybody back to Bourbon Banter Evans. I'm Charles.
Justin, Spirits Drive Thru.
And we're here, as you can see on the table today, we're doing store picks from Spirits Drive Thru. Justin?
So, glad you mentioned that. This is a video for store picks and what we've done in the past. We're going to talk a little bit about the store picks that we've done, which if you guys aren't familiar with the store pick, that's when we take a trip, do a pick of one batch, turn it into a single barrel, put our logo on it, they put our name on it, what we've done with it, which one we picked to become the Spirits Drive Thru pick of that specific brand, and then we present it to you guys and hopefully you enjoy. And so what we've done is we brought some extra people in that have been on barrel picks, a couple of people on the tasting panel, ones that have been there, ones that will be hopeful in the past. So we've got to my left, so on your right, we got Keenan, which you guys have seen Keenan before. Thank you for hosting us, Keenan. He's been on a couple barrel picks with a different group, and hopefully he'll be joining us eventually. Then we have Sam, who has recently done the Yellowstone pick with us, made the trip up there as he's got the brand. Devin, tasting panel expert, been there for most of them, like Charles. And so they're in the same group. We'll get the other guys for the tasting panel eventually. So he's wearing the James E. Pepper. I'm glad you're wearing that shirt because we're going to talk a little bit about the James E. Pepper that we picked out on the trip, and then that will be bottled eventually and then put out. It's been bottled currently, which I haven't told many people that. So we do have a bottling count. Okay. So we have a yield. We know the yield. It yielded well. I believe the yield was. I have to do math because I just forgot.
No problem. But hey, and one thing I have to mention, this is not a store pick. This is our good old control. So
the unknown control.
The unknown control. And nobody's going to figure it out.
I don't know. 200.
All right.
Between
yielded,
2 and 230?
Yeah, it yielded over 200. I just went blank on what the number was. I think it was.
That's a good yield.
It was a good yield. It's going to be a 5-year MGP, 110 proof. Cut down. I can't believe I just went blank on the number. That's pretty awesome.
Uncut, unfiltered.
Uncut, unfiltered. I've been through some stuff, so I kind of, still.
It's the best part of this.
Regaining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So
100%.
every bit of that. So that being said, James E. Pepper, we will mention that. Other than that, we're going to have Chris in the background, manning the camera. If he comes up with any questions or comments, you might hear him speak up. Thanks for joining in.
Cheers, Chris.
Everybody grab a glass and join us if you're watching. Thank you for watching and joining in. Hope you're having fun just like we do and enjoying bourbon with friends. And in this case, this is almost like doing work, but now we're doing it for fun, talking about the picks that we've done. If you can't see, this one is covered up. This is our newest one. That's why it's up front. That's the Yellowstone. We've done that one. That is hiding the 2019 full proof that we did. And then next to it is the 1792 Foo Bar, and the other side is the 2018 the Bottle and Bond. That was the first Bottle and Bond to hit our era. We were one of the first groups to get offered a Bottle and Bond barrel pick at the distillery, which is what we prefer. So because the first barrel pick that I've ever done was the 1792, that's why I've chose to rep 1792. Charles, can you verify what socks I have on?
1792.
Hey, rocking the 1792.
Verify what decanter you have that was taken from me.
I don't recall.
Okay.
Yeah. 1792.
Yeah.
He just needs another pour.
Yeah. So in our glass right now, what we're drinking is the Bottle and Bond from 2018. It is over an 8 years, about 8 year, 10 months, and it is obviously 100 proof. It's got the DSP, KY numbers on there for the thumbprints, fingerprints, if you want to call them that, for where the bottle came from, and all that fun stuff. What are you guys' thoughts on trying this that hasn't tried this or haven't tried it in a long time? We just happened to, Charles had a bottle in his back of his cabinet, so thanks for bringing that out.
Thank you, Charles.
Anytime.
Thank you.
No, I'll be the first one. It's one of my favorites is 1792. It's just it's Bottle and Bond. Love Bottle and Bonds. This one right here though it's just so unique to me. I love it.
Yeah. So you were up there during that pick.
Yes.
Yeah. He was up there. Devin was up there.
Yes.
The other guys joined in a little bit later, so they weren't up there doing that pick. But this one it came down to a 2-barrel duel essentially. And we were at the time trying to figure out if we could buy 2 barrels, I believe.
Yes.
And then
Well,
I think it was offered, but it wasn't 100% whether it was available or not. There was a little bit of a holdback of whether we could. And then I think we called back later, and then Josh, the manager, said, "No, you can't do that."
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. And so I think that was tried later on. So Keenan, what immediately to the left, what's your thoughts on the old Bottle and Bond?
Well, I was going to add, it's good that you mentioned the 2-barrel duel because we were talking earlier about picking a store pick, and to just have one that you all agree on is just uneventful, really, and just to have the opportunity to duel and try to, argue your point on why you think one barrel is better than another is just really a lot of the fun behind.
Yeah.
No one pallet's the same.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's
And
the beautiful thing. But when all pallets
Align.
collectively align, for
Yeah.
something like that, I mean, it was.
And it,
So speaking
incredible.
of that, on the Fubar pick for 1792, which is this one,
Really one of my favorites.
it is
personally.
a great, outstanding.
So
So
good.
there was only 2 people that
Yeah.
agreed on that entire barrel, and we're right here.
those two.
Hello.
First
I was-
time that we've ever agreed on a barrel.
Yeah.
And I was not on board with it. I liked it,
And
but
that was
I
a panel.
liked another one.
That was a panel of like 8 of
8,
us.
yeah.
I think we had 8 people on that pick, and
Yeah. Now ever
the
since
profile just hit home.
But-
oh, it
with
did.
1792,
But
with
it's still-
everything you're looking
Oh
for.
yeah! Ever since it's been bottled and people try to, pretty much everybody that was not for it has come back and be like, no, it's great.
Yeah.
You know, and it, and I've heard some things out there in the bourbon world on social media, which you guys may have seen this or read this. Some of it's been about Yellowstone, which we'll mention that here in just a second next. That supposedly, and I've seen this on a couple different sites, that it's tough to make 1792 picks good. That a lot of people do these picks because of the perks that it could lead to in their stores, which is not something you guys have to worry about more than I do. But somebody was like, and Justin has a tendency to make 1792 picks good. I disagree with that. 1792 picks to me are one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
It's the first one we ever did. What is you guys' thoughts on that? As far as, do you think it's just okay? I think some of these 1792 picks are outstanding.
So for me personally, I'm more of a rye person anyway. I love the higher rye content that 1792 produces. We've tried to figure out what that content actually is, and Josh will not tell us a thing.
Nor
But-
nor Ken, nor anybody.
Nobody will.
Yeah.
But, we have a profile that we're looking for whenever we go into these picks. We know kind of an idea of what we're looking for, and then obviously you're not going to know what you want until it's presented before you. And with the barrels sitting there in front of you, you get to thieve each one. Each one's going to produce its own different, unique profile.
Yeah, the only one that's missing is the original one.
The
That's
OG.
the OG, the
OG.
2015 pick that we did. It's just not on the table because it's just
gone.
It's gone.
It's
Yeah,
gone.
It was consumed. So
No, and I would say 1792. I love them. There's any barrel pick you go on, you're going to find some barrels that are just right off the bat.
Put it in the
I mean,
batch.
just gone. Yeah, just done. But I've been when I've done these before, there's been many barrels. It's hard to choose. They're good. So to me it's not hard to pick a good.
There's no bad
1792.
bourbon.
No.
yeah. All right, so that leads me to the next thing. I'm gonna move on. My glass is almost empty. I'm gonna move on to Yellowstone, which is our most recent one. So the fun part about Yellowstones are these are hand selected first by Stephen Beam. In order to get this pick, they have to be done by a representative of the actual company, the store, or the sales team, including the suppliers. So you can't just have a person get samples sent to them. It has to be the supplier, the sales team, which is the wholesaler, and then or a person for Luxco, which is now MGP owned, done for them. So these are already cherry picked by Stephen Beam, and then you get to pick from this. This is the most complicated pick I've ever been on, which I've said that before on camera, and everybody knows that, and I've said it in person many times too. Right. So that being said, I'm going to finish this off, pour this one, and then I'm going to get these two guys' input on it that were in there as far as what happened in the duel on those 2 barrels that they got narrowed down.
We're bringing that up, huh? On that note.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories.
So
But
tell
it's,
us.
it's always good to have a little duel.
Yeah.
That was
So tell us a
like
little
we
bit
should have
of-
had cameers rolling on that because that was perfect banter.
I heard.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Devin stood up at attention and was about to lay
I
the law.
object.
Yeah.
I object. Yeah,
That's really the part that I was like, I should have been there.
The,
To see
the,
that.
Like,
the bourbon passion behind that barrel.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I'm telling you that other barrel that we,
When you
which I
can-
mean it was there.
That's the fun part. Out of all those 9 to choose from, none of them were bad.
No,
They're all, I mean, that's like what Steve Fontaine was saying. Like, you're not going to get a bad one. It's just you got to get the one that you like. And I'm not going to tell you which one to go with because it's not my store.
right.
And so.
But I'm obviously gonna be kind of a devil's advocate on some picks, especially when we have that many. There was 9. How do you choose 9?
Yeah.
Whittle,
So
down,
for-
whittle
okay.
down the ones you don't like
Yeah,
first.
yeah, gotta go. Okay, so
Yeah.
Sam, walk us through just a brief moment of what you did. Did you do a lot of notes and trying to remember the 9? Or what was your thoughts on when you were there in your first pick and you had to have this, bam, 9 in front of you? First time, pick one.
Right. It was a tough decision. That was a lot of bourbon to sample.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, they were all good, like Justin was saying. They wouldn't have been there in the
desserty.
first place if they weren't worth
Very
drinking.
This is your first
What
one.
surprised me the most was when Justin told me to narrow it down to 3 picks. 2 of those picks, Devin picked the same exact thing, and I think that's what made him object. one of the things that made him object. But after going back and after the extensive testing that Justin did on the one that he actually ended up picking, I'm happy that he did.
And I'm completely happy with the 115 because everybody knows that's not typical for me to go higher.
That's not typical for Justin in any form or fashion. For me personally, on that pick, I narrowed it down between, we had 3 different proofs. I wanted to pick my favorite out of each proof, and then narrowed it down. And I really was adamantly strong on the one that I had chosen,
and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I want to hear the reasons as to why we should go.
And I objected, and I fought for it. I was giving my best with anything and everything, because I really didn't think that Justin was going to truly pick 115 proof, but yet here we are, and it's fantastic. Now, in the end, we did do a blind.
Oh, yeah.
And in the end, on the blind, I did choose the 115. So I feel confident that we definitely, let the bottle speak for itself. Go out and get you one.
Yeah, Keenan, which they're gone.
Oh, they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. Yeah,
That's what we do at Spirits.
So Keenan, having tried it, but just narrowly missing a trip due to conflict with another trip, because you were doing a different barrel pick. So without talking about that one, but talking about this one, what is your thoughts on it being a 115 in this particular pick?
So we were just talking off camera. I haven't had the best Yellowstone experiences personally. Just haven't really thoroughly enjoyed any of them, and so this is where I think the fun behind store picks comes into play, because the moment I opened this bottle and nosed it, enjoyed the complexity, the sweetness, I would say is the uniqueness behind this one.
Desserty. It's got a dessert.
It is so unlike any Yellowstone I've ever had. And I think that's where the fun behind, grabbing a store pick, trying to figure out, okay, maybe I've had some bad experiences. I've had some bad 1792 experiences.
Yeah, we go over all over the place when we find one and pick one up just to try it. Because we like 1792.
And something that I do anytime I'm out and about, any store that I go to, if I see a store pick of 1792, I'm going to pick it up just to sample it.
Sure.
Or a store pick in general. I just like going to get store picks because I like to see what they're tasting.
Oh, that Benny's, that pick that you had from Benny's, which is in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
The old Ezra. That was a good pick.
Like, what's the store near your father-in-law's house?
Oh, that was in Athens, the one that we went to.
Oh,
yeah. Well, Grayson. No, Grayson.
Yeah, the Elijah Craig.
Yeah, that Elijah Craig was off the chart.
I could have put a straw down in it.
But it's amazing to me. You get a bunch of barrels, and they're all aged around the same or whatnot. They're in the same building, not the same height or whatnot, and they can be completely different. Yeah. It's amazing.
But we have also seen it, or at least I have. You guys weren't on this one, so I take that back. Where they rolled it off the same line. And so literally, it was 4 barrels off the exact same line, and they were all completely different. And that was with my dad, and he was just like, this is mind-boggling that they all taste that big a difference, when he was one of my original people that would do the picks. And scheduling now doesn't work out so well. And so to segue from Yellowstone, so somebody had reached out and said, let's talk about picks other than what you are always after or trying to get, which is, let's pick the big ones, I guess. People want Eagle Rare picks.
Yes.
They want
any Buffalo Trace.
Any Buffalo Trace or Heaven Hill. So that's going to be your Elijah Craig barrel proof picks.
Larceny.
Old Forester barrel proof picks. They're going to want those. Larceny's done, so you don't have to worry about that. E.H. Taylor barrel picks. Everybody's after those. So let's say we can't get those. What can we get that is a good barrel? Yeah, Weller's another barrel. Weller's, I forgot about it. So 2 of those are sitting on this table to go after and find and see how good they are. And I'm glad that we've done 2 of them. One of them, the Yellowstone, which we're talking about, but the other one is this Wathans pick. And so this is our Wathans pick from 2019, and it ended up being excellent. Is it sourced? Sure. There's nothing wrong with that. These are still picks that you can go out and find. Another one, a good one that's going to end up being, especially if you like Rise, is going to be what you're wearing, the James E. Pepper that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be that's going to be a really good one.
Very proud of that pick.
That's
gonna be
so, like I said, I'm a Rye person. I love
unanimous.
So I'm gonna put everybody on the spot, starting with Charles always.
Okay.
So if you're out there shopping, you're looking for something, name a store pick that you'd be interested in trying that isn't one of those major Sazerac brands that everybody wants that's so hard to get.
That Ezra Brooks.
Okay.
I mean, that was
Keenan. Questions get harder.
I know, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of stumped on this one.
Soon they'll be doing what's on your shirt.
Yeah, that's
gonna
really
be a great one to.
Yeah, he's wearing a Bardstown Bourbon Company shirt, and we were just had some information on possibly one of those. So
And those have been really, I mean, getting to tour the distillery and just the technology behind what they're doing
Yeah.
and just combining and creating their own. Man,
That's gonna be a great barrel pick when that happens.
Yeah.
They need to do the Evan Williams, the new one.
oh yeah.
That was just crazy with that.
All right, on the spot, what's a barrel that you might be interested in looking for, or actually, if we could get one, doing a barrel pickup? That's the other part. It's not just finding them if somebody else has done them. Is trying to find one that we can do that's not saturated, because we can't always get those because they're so allocated. So
Yeah, I mean, mine has already been fulfilled with the Old Pepper. That was, I stumbled across the bottle and just randomly tried it and found out that it was fantastic, and we luckily was able to do that. But
which, I mean,
there's so many out there to choose from that
they've got
Yes.
some other.
I still say Elijah Craig
well, that's a Heaven Hill and it's allocated.
from the
It
allocated
is,
standpoint.
yeah. Okay, so what about you, Sam? What's a barrel that you'd be interested in, even if it's not available, but just
One thing like
Smoke Wagon Private Barrel.
oh heck yeah.
Something
Yeah.
told me we were going to get to that.
we was gonna make it there.
So
eventually.
Smooth Ambler does barrel picks too, but they've changed the way their program works, and you don't really get to pick it. They do it for you and put your label. They do your label for you. Yeah.
But they only do the whiskey though, right?
No, they do the bourbon too.
They do the bourbon though.
Chris in the background.
For me, for sure, Russell's Reserve picks.
Yeah,
Ah.
Russell's.
100%.
Yeah.
Gobble
I-
gobble.
I
Yeah.
pick up every single Russell's Reserve pick that I ever find.
I'm surprised that
Dusty Funk.
Dusty Funk. Yeah.
Dusty Funk.
So that being said, if you bringing that up, I'm glad you said. I'm pretty glad that nobody said Four Roses. Moving on. So
How about a Makers?
Yeah. I thought Keenan was going to say.
I would have figured he would have
Well-
said Makers. Yeah.
How? I mean, I am
What, a
holding a
46?
Makers glass, and I'm not a.
The,
huge
just
fan of
the
Makers.
wood
Yeah.
selection. was
Just
You know, I
Okay,
wouldn't
wood
mind
selection,
doing that
yeah.
stave.
So that's
thing that
that's
they do,
well
which
that's
is pretty
been
unique.
that's been a lot of fun because I've gathered a honeysuckle, toffee almond, and grandma's kitchen, and
I mean, are we baking cookies here? Or
I'm
what?
telling you,
That's what they
what it
do.
sounds like.
the stave change up is
Yeah.
phenomenal,
Yeah.
and we broke open toffee almond for Christmas,
That's right.
and I mean we crushed that bottle in like a weekend, I think. I mean
Yes.
it was just so
All right.
good.
So now we got that.
Amazing.
This is gonna be like a quick round of what you're gonna look for, and what barrel you just named, because we're doing the. Here's your barrels are laid out in front of you. Charles, we're doing the Ezra. What note are you looking for? Quick lightning round, go.
I'm looking for that vanilla note.
Vanilla note.
Yep.
You're doing your Makers now. What you looking for?
Well, Makers, you gotta go cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
Yeah.
You're doing your pepper. What'd you look for?
Man, that tingle, that rye,
tingle.
that rye tingle that you get on anything that
But that one
it
just
was
mellowed way
it
down.
was
though.
it was easy from that nice burn to the front and then
Yeah,
just
Sam, what you
melted
looking for?
on the way back.
You're doing your smoke wagon. What you looking for?
Fruit and candy.
Fruit and candy.
Fruit and
candy.
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 Fruity.
All right, so if I'm doing a pick, I'm going to be looking for specific notes based off of that profile, having had that brand before. Now, if it's a brand I've never had, then it's going to be a little bit different. But so I'm going to try to match up with that, but then I'm going to look for specific characters and how that specific barrel is different than the batch, but in a good way, where it still complements.
Well, that's what we done on that 17. I like all of them.
Yeah,
I
so
mean,
the
all
food
of
bar
them.
is specifically that way. The other one I was thinking is the bison extract.
Well, sorry,
So-
you didn't.
Yeah, I'm just saying
That
bison
was a
extract
dumb-
is
yeah.
is completely different, but at the same time it's
Baby Taylor?
is Baby Taylor. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bison extract.
So Justin, you're on the spot. You have the final say so, right?
Yes.
Ultimately. So what goes through your head just to give everyone an idea of making a final decision on a barrel pick when maybe there's debate, maybe you've got two profiles.
Okay.
You
that's-
like both profiles.
That's a tough question, by the way.
It's a very tough
Yeah.
question, but we.
So what
I
do you
think
say-
everyone wants to know.
yeah,
what's
what-
going
what
through
am I
your
gonna-
head.
Step us through
so hold on,
step
before-
us through your process.
Before you answer that, though, whenever I went on the very first barrel pick with Justin, he explained to me kind of exactly the question that you're asking, but he said, it's tough for me because I have to choose for me, but I also have to choose for the customer.
Right.
Who's
yeah,
buying.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
so that, you told me from the get-go that that's something that you weigh heavy on, but you've got to go
and
with
we've heard it.
Right.
what's the best thing going in
the
the
bottle.
bottle.
And
Yeah,
we've heard it on every pick. We've
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
that on
100,
every
yeah,
pick.
100%.
And
If you've
it's
been
a-
there, if you've been
Yep.
there on any pick, you've heard the banter.
But you've always stepped us through a process at the end. What we're not, step us through that little bit of process.
Yeah, so that's what I do. So essentially, after I listen to everybody's input and they're looking for what they found in that specific bourbon and then what they found in that specific barrel for that bourbon brand, then I'm going to have them narrow it down and make sure it's on board with what I've narrowed down. And then when I do this, now I still say this, that just because I've been doing it a long time and done a lot of these doesn't mean I'm great at it. I still say I've been lucky 10 times in a row. And so that being said, when I'm looking for that specific something, I'm listening to what everybody's saying input-wise as far as which barrel to go with. And so when we narrow those barrels down, and then as long as they're on my sheet, the ones I've narrowed down to, the first thing I do is I get with the one I'm not going with. And make sure everybody's on board with that's the easiest one to pick up.
That's the easy one.
Then when we narrow it down to two, then what
Yeah.
I'll do is I'll literally have the glasses and have them everybody pour them side by side, and then I'll walk them through with what I'm tasting and what I'm looking for in that specific whiskey based off of what's about to be bottled in it, why I think that it will sell or why I think that this one tastes better than this one. And if it's got an overwhelming note that could be the caramel or vanilla, or it could be a tingle that exists for a second but then disappears, and then it has a nice warm finishing but it doesn't have this note, then that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk that one through specifics. I don't ever release my profiles, everybody knows that. It's the people that know the profile, the ones that were in on the pick until you open the bottle when it gets bottled and delivered. Then what I have done once, and I'm not going to say which one, I have picked one specifically only because I liked it. It was nothing to do with what I thought was going to be good, and I went specifically for this is the one that's I like and this is what I want to drink. And then one time I picked specifically against what was the better barrel, and I went with what I thought would sell better.
Yep.
And that was the very first 1792 that Brian was in on, and that was the way it was described. The barrel is fantastic, but the one I didn't pick was an M.O. Cooperage and had this cool fruit pear note to it. And I could have just put a straw on the side of the barrel and just drank that one completely. Whereas the one that ended up being the original one was
Still
awesome.
fantastic
Yeah.
out of this world.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's got to be something that stands out. Like, so if we're picking 1792, a lot of people say banana. I don't get the banana on that.
No.
But there is a specific note that I'm looking for, and a lot of it has to do with the level of spice that they have because it is a high rye content in the bourbon world. When it comes to the BT1 line, if I'm doing the BT1 stuff, because I've done Eagle Rare, Buffalo Trace, been involved on those, and a Taylor. So I'm going to look for specific dried fruits, dates, and notes, like things like that, maybe a raisin even, because I want that sweetness to come through, but I want it to be real smooth and mellow for that. And it has to match all those things and still be good. And so that would be the best way to describe these.
But something that we've also done too on any pick that we've done, we kind of learned about it originally with the old Forster pick and Jackie's Zygan, but then moving forward, we kind of got nerdy.
Yeah.
And we started bringing out the hygrometer and actually,
graduated cylinder.
I mean, proofing it down to try and figure out exactly what's going to be in the bottle whenever you get it. And with the foolproof, it's kind of hard to do because that's kind of right where it was sitting around.
Yeah, you got a few drops of water.
Hard to proof down, 129 to 125,
Yeah.
or something like that. So
When we were looking at the bottle and bond,
yeah,
when we had the hydrometer, one of them didn't make it because we weren't doing bottle and
That
bond.
was this
at
one.
time. Oh, I'm sorry.
that
That's
was
right.
that was this one.
Yeah, that's
But no,
right.
it was going to be a
Yeah,
foolproof though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
So it technically was this barrel,
yes.
Yes.
but it didn't. It wouldn't have made the 129
wouldn't have
because it
made
came
the
in at
124.
124.
124.
But
yeah.
it could have been a bottle and bond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but-
Yeah,
I mean,
so
that's-
it's kind of cool how the more you do this, the more you learn from just the profiles and then learning how to proof them down and figure out there's
Again,
a lot more to it than just walking in and
Yeah.
saying, let me
if you
try
guys
this
find
or
a
that.
Watkins out there, pick it up. It's
Yeah.
worth it.
Especially
easier.
if you can find a store pick.
Yeah.
I mean, Watkins is good
No,
too.
I
And
haven't.
what's funny, the only one pick that you've done not at
I haven't
a
touched
distillery
it yet.
is which one?
Oh,
well, two.
two technically. It was
Okay.
technically two because it wasn't allowed. I had to go to Atlanta, and the other one is Watkins.
Yes.
They would not allow. We begged and pleaded. It
Right.
just wasn't happening. So, all right. To segue to move on to speaking of this one right here,
Oh man.
the next barrel, which we're on Watkins right now. Again, talking about stuff to look for. We mentioned that a little bit. The next barrel that Spirits is supposed to be getting in, that is going to be being picked. And hear me, guys, on this one. Like, just hear me out as far as what your ideas are. And everybody knows what Weller CYP
Yes.
is. Weller, and it's Craft Your Perfect Bourbon. So our next barrel pick of Buffalo Trace, the samples have been ordered, but they have to be samples. They are not allowing us to go in store, in distillery to
Right.
pick the barrels. They are being sent down. So I've been sitting around and thinking, what about you guys thinking? By the way, cheers. Hope you're, watching and
Pour you another one.
pour another one with us. This is the Watkins for me.
Watlin's here.
And
Oh, man, I
I'm
haven't had
calling
that in
it.
so long.
I'm gonna call it another barrel sample project, and I'm came up with PYPB. It's pick your perfect Buffalo Trace. And so the idea behind this is that since we have no choice but to do samples, I'm going to try to open it up to you guys, the customers, or you guys, whoever, and I'll oversee the samples and the barrel picking part. And then in that process, let you guys pick the Spirits barrel pick. You're going to pick the Buffalo Trace. I'll oversee it to make sure that the barrels come out to what I think they should be, will be good. And then it will be you guys, the ones in a
Just kinda
sample.
have a vote.
Yeah. And
It's
if there's
pretty
more
cool.
than 4 people that are really wanting to do it, I'll probably have to draw names to make it fair because the samples aren't huge, and so we'll run out of liquid. Obviously,
Huge.
you can't have 50 people doing the sample because
No.
everybody
Yeah.
will not know what it tastes like. There's no possible way. So if we have more, and I'll put out an opening, for putting your names in. If it does go past 4
Just
people
like
that are
any
interested,
drawing that we do at Spirits,
Yeah.
random generator.
yeah, random generator. So what do you guys think on that? I'll go around in a lightning round again. What is your thoughts on pick your perfect Buffalo Trace from samples for the store, and it being a customer picked bison part 2 or Buffalo Trace?
Part D.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we ventured into the whole sample conversation when we were doing the live, maybe lightning round. Sorry, I guess I'd be fast, but anyway,
The bourbon's hitting.
I mean, I think it creates a lot of palettes, a lot of opinions, a lot
Sure.
of different perspectives. So I think you got pro and con there. Maybe.
Always.
So I mean, I think all that's. So I mean, I think it's a good thing. I don't like it as much as going to the distillery.
Correct,
But
Yeah.
I think that it's at least opening up an opportunity for other people who may not have the opportunity.
Right.
To get a
Yeah,
good
for
And I
sure.
think it'd be
to go to
cool
the
for an
distillery,
in-store
so-
tasting because we're allowed to do that now.
Right.
Charles, what's your thoughts?
No, I think it's great for an in-store tasting. I think you definitely, as you do at all of them, have to have the final say-so, because it doesn't matter what we pick, it's what you want for your customers.
Okay. Sam, thoughts?
I think
PYPB, pick your perfect Buffalo Trace.
I think that you have come up with an ingenious plan to pass the buck on us as consumers. He went 10 for 10. He's not going to
It's about
lose. He
13
came up
for
with a
13.
perfect plan to not lose. It's our fault if it's bad.
Yeah, that's good thought. Yeah.
It's their fault, not mine. I'm not-
Right.
And last but not least, Devin, we're going to bring Chris on this too, but Devin, go ahead. What's your thoughts?
Chris, I want you to go first. I want to hear what you got to say.
Chris, in
on
the
this,
background,
so
what you got?
go ahead and speak
PYPB,
up
pick
on
your
it.
perfect Buffalo Trace if it can be done.
Okay, so and picking your perfect Buffalo Trace, I think it's important not to get standard Buffalo Trace. I think it's to get something off profile
Okay.
that's not going to be the standard on the shelf Buffalo Trace, which is you can all walk mostly into the store and pick up. Exactly. So you want to go something like that,
Yes.
something like in a Taylor profile line, something like
Maybe
just like that. So yeah, so something that's
Which we
just
can't
not-
control that because it is
Right.
samples. Keep in
It's
mind.
in samples,
Yeah.
but
That's
just
the
not
tricky part.
So
standard.
you're going to offer? Okay. All right. I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
Devin,
So that's what we love about.
I like Sam's passing the buck.
That was good.
Yeah, that was pretty
I'm a
genius.
little jealous that I didn't come up with that.
Yeah.
Like that was good.
He's like, it's on us now.
Yeah.
So it's
Thanks,
our
Justin.
fault.
Thank you.
So luckily,
Here for you guys.
that is a great idea. It is kind of passing the buck on to the consumer. But
It's a great idea.
what I like
Not
about it
be.
is
No, it's not
every
bad.
single
We're
pick,
picking good bourbon here. You
every,
guys.
every single pick that I've been on, I've learned something.
Yes.
And it's normally been the same group of guys, and as you see, we've done pretty well with the
Dang it,
picks that
Watson's
we've
good.
done.
So good.
The pepper that's about to come out will be my 10th pick with Spirits Drive Thru in the last 5 years, I think.
I think I've been on 7 of those.
It's just 7, yeah. It's like a fly on the wall. But we always learn something new.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that it's going to be a unique situation to where we bring in 4 or 5 people around the panel to kind of sit and do exactly what we're doing now and banter and just talk about what's in the bottle, what these selections that we have in front of us, good, bad, might even learn something from what they're looking for and maybe beneficial to a future pick.
Exactly.
Right.
Worst case scenario, you're drinking Buffalo Trace store pick, single barrel. So
Well, the good thing, another thing is honestly, you can just say, I don't like any of them. and send them all back.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I think we'll be able to
Well,
do
they
that.
won't be able to, but
Yeah.
I mean, technically, in a good, I mean,
In a
any-
standard
in a
scenario from
standard
years ago, we'd have been able to be like, no.
But even if somebody doesn't like it, they can just say I abstain. You know, none of them taste good or
Yeah,
whatnot.
yeah,
you know?
that could be said.
That was
Yeah.
similar to a tequila incident that I remember of something taste or smelling completely funky.
Tasted great.
Tasted amazing.
Yeah, I wonder where that is.
Yeah, is it still in limbo?
Oh, it's out there.
It's
Somewhere.
out there somewhere. Out there
Fly,
somewhere.
fly, fly.
But no.
It gone.
But no, I think it's a good idea. I
We could
think
have settled on another B word. But.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting nonetheless. And that's just the plan. So stay tuned for that. That's my plan for the store, for the Buffalo Trace, when and if the samples, and I say if because obviously there has been barrel slips in the past. That's
Right.
supposed to be coming to us. We did make the cut, which is great. That means we made the allocation, which is awesome. I'm super excited to do another Buffalo Trace.
Thank y'all for the support.
Yes, thank you
Thank
guys.
y'all.
And,
Y'all are what are making this next pick happen.
Yeah, and I hope that you guys will enjoy this, and I'm hoping you like the barrels that we've done in the past, and I hope you guys are trying something with us as well, not
Exactly.
just watching by ourselves and watching us drink, even though it is exciting.
And the one thing I haven't said the entire video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe down below. That way you know when
Yes,
we come
please.
out with new videos, and that way you know anytime we have something
Spread
new
the
out
love. Spread
Exactly.
the bourbon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so I think we're getting close to time.
there. Yeah, we're good.
Okay, so if we're good, then I'm going to have to say I think we should choose one more pour if we can chug that last little bit, Ian.
I
So-
did a Keenan
Yes.
pour.
That's okay. We have another glass.
All right.
We have an extra glass, and we have the person that can go get those glasses.
So add it. I'm gonna
Chris's
put you on
glass
the
is
spot.
empty.
I'm gonna put you on the spot now.
Well,
All right.
let's vote. You go. Pick which one we should drink.
Oh, well, that JR pick is.
Pick which one we should drink.
The JR pick is.
Pick.
You know where I'll go next.
I
It would
love
be-
Bison.
Pick.
I'm on
Yeah.
Bison.
It'd be
Pick.
Bison.
That's
I'm on Bison
that's
too,
what I was
man.
gonna ask. Which one would you go
Okay,
next?
okay, I was
Alright.
thinking Bison next. Yeah.
All right, so me and you are drinking JR.
That sounds about right. There's just a
There's
little-
well, that's a Keenan pour. Just put
Oh,
a straw
yeah,
in it. You're good.
Chris, would you be willing to get 2 more Glencairns? All right, so Charles, I think this has been a pretty good store pick, single
I think it
barrel
has
pick.
been.
I mean, we've done some incredible picks. I feel
Oh yeah,
across the
phenomenal.
time. I mean,
Thank you for the
Yeah,
opportunity to
I
be
mean,
on these.
we couldn't have done it without you.
Um,
I mean,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have had this
Hey,
opportunity.
Blessed
it's
to
a-
do 10.
dude, bourbon sharing and drinking with friends is a whole lot more exciting than by yourself. Barrel picking by yourself, a whole lot less exciting than when you get to barrel pick with friends
And
or
while
people
I'm
that
ex-
like
the camaraderie that
Yeah.
we get of meet new people and
Yeah.
bringing
the
people
stories that
together.
That's what I
occur
love about it,
on
yeah.
these.
I mean,
There's
I love
100%,
this.
Yeah.
you know.
100%.
during
Yeah,
the barrel
being able
picks
to
we've
meet
had.
new folks
Yeah.
that I've never
Exactly.
met.
Yeah.
You know,
We've had
2
people
years
walk
ago.
onto the bow of boats. We've had wrestling. We've had the stuff that occurs on this. We've had insane behind the scene tours.
What happens
that
in
just,
Kentucky stays in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Late night scooting.
Yes, the scootering in downtown Louisville.
But
on
Justin
electric
can't
scooters.
scooter in a neighborhood. Let me tell you.
Hey, whoa, that's beside the point. You know, we're not talking about that.
But
Nothing
he's
to
got
do
the
with store-
scars
Nothing
to
to do with
prove
store
it.
picks. Nothing to do with store picks.
But no, I'm looking forward to the next store pick coming in. I'm really looking forward to that because I am starting to become the rye guy too. So-
Guys, if you are a fan of rye, I highly suggest getting out, and if you can find a bottle of Old Pepper right now, go ahead and buy it. Go to the distillery. The distillery is fantastic. But when this bottle comes out, it's
haven't had it.
mind blowing. What on any level if you're a fan of rye.
Oh, yo, you're talking about the James E. Pepper? I am excited about
Yeah.
that. That number is going to come back to me eventually as far as what it yielded.
Oh, it's Celine
but it's
Dion.
still a good one.
It's all coming back to me now.
It's all coming back to me.
But no, keep an eye out for him. He'll announce it whenever that one's out. And please come up to the store, get you some.
You have it next.
And again, I think
I'm
just
trying to finish it up so I
remembering
can have
the
some.
opportunity to grab a store pick and enjoy a change up, you know, just being surprised by bourbon is so much fun. I mean, you get all these bourbons, you maybe didn't have a great experience, you grab a store pick, and it's just off the charts good.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Well,
just
and
the fun behind it.
The thing is you never know. You really
Yeah.
never. I mean, it can be completely different. You
Uncut,
get
unfiltered. You just saw
1792
that.
Bottle and Bond, just regular, might
Yeah.
not be any good. You go to a store pick, might be the best thing you've ever
That's
done.
exactly right.
That's what's fun
Yeah.
about store picks.
Oh, my bad. Your fault.
Absolutely.
That's what's fun about store picks.
This Warthen's
All right, now.
Well,
There you go.
I'm going
Just-
Bison.
All right.
Justin,
Yep.
cheers.
Cheers to everybody. Thank you
Cheers.
guys. And
Cheers.
thank you
Cheers.
guys for the support.
Thank you.
If you guys want to be in on one of these, by all means, reach out. Let us know. Obviously, we've had more people in this group for this one. This is what the hopes that are going forward with Bourbon Banter is getting together, having some pours. This theme was obviously Spirits Drive Thru picks. That's where we're coming through and from. And so I'd say this was a success. Like I said, reach out to us if you want to host one, if you want to be involved with Banter somehow. If you want to be on Bourbon Court,
Yeah.
let us know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I am reigning
Bourbon Court.
champion. I
Yeah,
am undefeated.
After bantering a lot. Yeah.
I don't know what they're talking about. I think it was a fair win. Cheers to everybody out there.
Cheers.
Cheers to you
Cheers.
guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for all the
Cheers.
barrel pick stuff that you guys have been involved in, and look
Cheers.
forward to more in the future.
Oh,
Good,
there we go.
everybody. Please like, subscribe down below. Thanks again.
Spread
Thank
the
you.
word, guys.
Thank
Come on.
you.
Thank you.